All right, the glasses are coming off. It's getting serious. Okay, so take this as your sign to go all in. I know that's probably a little cheesy because everyone is saying that on social media, blah, blah, blah. But I'm serious. If you can keep pushing and just push yourself a little bit farther every day, make sure that you're continuing to accomplish goals, you're going to get to where you want to be, and you're going to get there faster than other people who are overthinking. And I talk about this a lot because it's an issue that I struggle with. I overthink all the time, and I have to override that by basically coming up with different ways to bypass it, right? Like, for example, doing like a 3 to 5 second rule, like, 3, 2, 1, go, whether that's on some work that I need to do, or another set in the gym, or just leaving to go to the gym, or like I see a cute girl that I want to meet and see if we have a good vibe there, like to set up a date by the end of the conversation. Because sometimes that anxiety is there and you just overthink too much, and then you never make progress. So you stay stuck, or you regress, or you just get there way slower than if you had just continuously made progress. And that actually leads me to another reason that I overthink, and I hope that this helps you, is it's never going to be the right time. It's never going to be the perfect time to ask for a raise, or make that extra effort, start putting yourself out there, whether that's in terms of a job, or in terms of your dating life, or just anything really. I mean, it's never going to be the right time, and you're going to realize that you're waiting for perfection, which will never happen. It literally will never happen. So there's a bunch of cliche sayings, and they're cliche because they're true, right? It's something like the best time to have started or to have planted that seed was yesterday, and the next best time is today. So just start. That's all I'm asking you guys, because it's deep down a message that I need all of the time, and to reinforce that. So if this helps you guys, just start. Just do a little bit. And that perfectionism isn't going to get you anywhere. No one's ever going to see how far you've come if you stay stuck. And no one's watching you as closely as you think they're watching you. There's a lot of really good examples of this, and even for me right now, like, I want to continue making more content on different platforms, and all I can do right now is overthink. I'm worried about what my friends and what my family, and for example, I was networking for a while doing music composition gigs, right, for film and video games. So I'm worried about using that Instagram, for example, as where I would start my content for helping guys with their confidence, right? Whether it's like dating, fitness, just overall becoming the man that they want to be. Because I'm worried about, it's funny, I'm not worried about what randoms would think. I'm just worried about what my friends and my family and these music networking friends that I've made as well would think of me for doing this. And it's really lame, right? If they're gonna judge me, I mean, it's hate comes from below, and I don't really wish that on anybody. I wouldn't just hate or comment and say negative stuff for no reason. I mean, most people do that when they're not in a great headspace, and it's crazy to think that for example, like I'm holding myself back from using one of my Instagrams, which was a music Instagram, for, you know, dating and confidence and building an audience that way to help you guys. And I think this is really important too, you know, because like a lot of us were not providing value to the world or to society because we're afraid of what other people will think, right? Like there's a lot of people that are really good at something, or at least decent at something, decent enough where maybe you're not the master, but you're good enough that you can teach someone a little bit, right? You can teach more of a beginner, someone who's like overthinking it more, right? And so it doesn't matter whether that's all these examples I mentioned earlier, right? Like gym, workplace, like you could teach the new person, you know, you could start training a little bit, you start leveling up and maybe getting into a higher position. You know, you could teach people online, right? Whether like fitness coaching or, you know, building a business. Excuse me, I've been sick. Like business coaching, sales coaching, copywriting, whatever it is, you know, there's all these different things. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you like I'm a guru, because like there's a ton of people that are, none of them are saying that, right? But there's too many people that are kind of like throwing around the, hey, listen, bro, I can help you make 10K a month. Come over here. It's like the stranger like luring the kid into an alleyway for candy. It's like there are some that actually know what they're doing, and you have to figure out who at least somewhat knows what they're talking about. Like somebody you actually resonate with. You can resonate with their message, you connect with them on a deeper level, and you want results like them. Like you've seen the receipts and the results that they're getting. So you know you're learning from someone who is in a position where you want to be, rather than someone who is not where you want to be, right? Which brings me all the way back to this thing we're talking about, is judgment and like worrying about what other people think. And for me right now, that's posting on social media, regardless of the platform. And I'm more worried about like what friends, family, and connections think, like business connections, rather than what random people think. Although, you know, depending on the context, like for a lot of guys, right, they don't want to approach girls, number one, because they're worried about what the girl would think. And then number two, they're actually, for some reason, they're worried about what like the rando guy or girl walking by them on the sidewalk would think. Like for some reason they would be like laughing or judging them, like haha, or the girl giving like the absolute most worst rejection, right? Like, you, like, you know, why would I date you? It's like you're thinking of the absolute worst outcome, and then you just completely stop yourself from actually doing anything. So then you'll never actually know because you didn't do it. And that's crazy. I mean, because that's probably not going to happen, because you're probably going to make a genuine attempt, whether it's for something with dating or not. And the funniest thing is you're most free and you're most able to make progress when you free yourself of that fear of judgment and overthinking, right? You can make so much more progress when you're not worried about what other people are doing, right? It's like turning around or like looking backwards while you're trying to race. It's only going to slow you down if you keep moving around worrying about others. And just in the dating example, right? Like let's say you want to approach a girl. Why would you be worried about what a random person would think on the side? Especially when, if they are going to judge you for it, and they're probably not, like, you know, they're too busy worrying about whatever they're doing or their own self. And even if that like 5% chance that they might judge you for it, really, again, it's the negativity or hate comes from below. So they're really just wishing that they had the balls to do that themselves, right? And that's just the truth. Like any other thing, response to that is definitely cope, because they definitely wish that they could be the guy who just had this genuine confidence, no gimmicks, no pickup artist BS, right? Like they're just able to be themselves, can confidently express that interest and lead their interaction to the point where they can see if they want to suggest a date and then do it, right? And this can apply to a ton of different things, right? I mean, like I mentioned, like posting on social media, you could overthink it all day and post zero or post much less than you would have. And it's not about the audience. It's funny to say that, right? But I recently watched a Hamza video where he was talking about how he really loves his viewers and his subscribers, though he mentioned like he has mixed feelings, right? Because a lot of his viewers, for a while, he was making content for more for more people, and a lot of his viewers are younger guys, and they're too busy on more like surface level stuff, so they judge him for building a community, like a paid community, or like coaching guys, right? So he's sort of like selling that he's doing. He wasn't doing that for a long time, and because he is now, some of the younger guys, they're like, oh, scammer, blah blah, but they don't really understand that he's trying to still help the same guys. They're just not on the same level, right? Because he wants to help them build their own online businesses, or scale so that they can help their families and lift these weights off their shoulders so they can be free, right? They can be providers for their significant others, or girlfriends when they have them, and make sure that maybe they could retire their parents. And he was just talking about how he had mixed feelings about some of the guys judging him for that. I don't blame him. I definitely do not blame him for that, because that's the reality, right? I mean, you want to provide value for people, and it's something that you spent a lot of time learning how to do that thing, and it's not always going to be for everybody. Like, that's okay if not everyone's into it. It's not supposed to be like that. Not everyone's going to like you, and if they do, you're probably people pleasing too much. And even with the sales thing, right? You're providing a value to compress time. Like, instead of taking, like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, whatever it is, taking that much time to fail over and over until you finally succeed. And if you could put that into a bottle, like lightning in a bottle, and share it with someone so that they can spend only like 3 months, or like a few months, maybe a year at max, because it really like 3 to 6 months, you could be a killer at something if you really put your mind to it and actually stopped overthinking, right? And that's the whole point of all this stuff, is there's a lot of value in that. And it's a shame that people who aren't quite in the position to do it yet, or they're too young to understand it, like they have an ego or like a lack mindset around money. They don't understand that stuff is so valuable, and you could free up so much more time, because time is worth so much more than money. And it kind of goes to that, like, instead of trading time for money, right, like with a job, or some people say like just over broke, actually providing that value quickly so you get the time back and you can be the best version of yourself. faster with more quality results and no overthinking. I think that's a good note to end this video on. Well, you got this.